So if you're interested in that, let me know. We can provide you with more information about what services we offer. 1 Million Cups, for those of you that are new to 1 Million Cups, please raise your hand if it's your first time here. Awesome, so let's give those new welcome. 1 Million Cups is an initiative that was born out of the Hoffman Foundation in Kansas City that supports entrepreneurship education across the United States. It started there as a meetup to sort of educate the community about what small business enterprising is and what entrepreneurship is. I always sort of say it's like an educational Shark Tank. It's blown up to a nationwide movement of nearly 200 chapters. We were number 69 in that 200 chapter movement. We opened, was it like 3 years ago? I can't remember, Lynn. Do you remember, Lynn? Was it like 3 years ago?
4 years ago in February.
Wow. Time waits for nobody. So yeah, we opened up and it's been a great experience for us to engage with the community. So we hope you enjoy the presentation. We have a couple of sponsors that help to make this a reality. Valley National Bank, I don't think we have their banner up. We used to, maybe we don't even have a banner of theirs. They paid for the coffee and food over there. The Blind Tiger provides the coffee, the Blind Tiger and Black and Denim, owned by Roberto Torres. We want to acknowledge them. Of course, Hillsborough County, for those of you that are new to this building that you're in right now, this is the Entrepreneur Collaborative Center, which is operated by Hillsborough County. It's an amazing facility with a network of community partners that help support small business enterprising. So we're happy to see new people here. Please spread the word. Let everybody know about the ECC. I kind of always tell people it's sort of like the visitor center for everything entrepreneurship in Tampa Bay. That's sort of how I frame it. Anyways, our first presenter today is Dan from Revolution After Dusk. I'm very excited to hear about this. So let's give Dan a big round of applause. There you go. There's the clicker.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Dan Cooper. I'm a copyright physician. I'm also a clinical sciences faculty over at National University of Health Sciences. And I'm the founder of Revolution After Dust Off. I call it RAD, so I'll probably reference that since Revolution After Dust Off is such a mouthful. RAD is a wellness education company designed to provide holistic lifestyle solutions to specific modern health challenges. I do this through education rather than product, or at least hands-on product. The basis of what the company derives all the protocols from is what I call biological imperatives. They're these things that are required for all of us humans to express our ideal level of health and happiness. And that's where I derive all my protocols from. I've been doing research in epigenetic factors, which are factors that can control the expression of genes for the last 20 years or so, and so I'm running with it. One of the things that I also provide within the RAD education is a clear and concise path. We live in the information overload time, and finding a meaningful path that is easy to follow and clear and concise is very difficult sometimes. So why is RAD even a thing? The need that I'm feeling is the ability to cut through the huge information storm that we have in the information age. So what I'm doing is cutting the path, giving it to people, and watching them blossom. Here's the confusing landscape of the information overload. The only other thing I'll say about that is that sometimes there's conflicting information as well. We have a lot of fads that come along, and most of them are very profit-based from companies who's got some product they want to sell. It's not necessarily geared toward what is best for the person. So I cut through all that nonsense, and I give the real deal, and give the clear path. So who's my customer? You always have this perfect avatar that we're trying to ferret out for marketing purposes. Any of these people, in my company, it doesn't necessarily matter what they look like. What matters to me is what they know about already, what they care about, and what they're seeking. So I need to find customers who have already decided they want to step over into this natural health path. They've had a dust off, so Revolution Dust Off is my company name, and it means a little something. In the military, this is veteran week, right? A dust-off is a military term that designates a medevac that happens to be a helicopter. So symbolically, in my company's name, we have a couple things that can happen. You actually have a medical emergency, and you come out on the other side after care with a second chance at life, and you have this epiphany state that I need to do something better with my life. In the other state, or the other side of this, we have a more normal American situation where you wake up one day not liking what you see in the mirror. So what happened in my life? This is not how I want to be. I need to make a change. In both cases, you have this epiphany, I need to do something better, and then the education that delivers that better path is what I give. So somebody's already had their realization they need a better path. And this is an important one, recognizing their role of responsibility in their health generation. We live in kind of a you fix me, I don't need to fix myself kind of healthcare world right now. Those who have realized that they have a role in creating their best self, those are the people I want. Place you can find these people, Tony Robbins and Brendon Burchard are two self-help gurus that have an audience that is my audience. Anybody on a paleo diet or paleo lifestyle blog, website, magazine subscription, those kind of people, those are my peeps as well. Marcola.com is the #1 natural health website, I think in the world, definitely in this country. So subscribership, that would be other people would be awesome for me. What this avatar looks like for me in practice, so I've been a chiropractor for almost 10 years, and 25 to 45, the #1 demographic has been entrepreneurial folks, or that second is the middle to upper management. Ideally, they've been athletes some other time in their life so that they can have that, man, I used to be awesome, I used to do all these things, and now I feel like this, when you sit at a desk for too long. Those people love me, and they accept what I have to say best, so that's a great demographic for me. Where do you find these people? Is it these yoked up dudes from, where you see on TV?
Used to be like that.
Used to be like that? CrossFit, I love CrossFit as a demographic of people. You think they look like this, the competitors look like this, and that's only the top competitors. The ladies, that's them, right? These pinnacle athletes. Really, it's the regular people trying to do better with themselves. And this is who I'm looking for, and this is who buys my stuff and loves me. So this is my demographic. I do it because I've loved performance my entire life. I've been running that route since I was a kid. I was a first responder in 9/11, and from that I love the country. I love Americans, and I've always wanted to, since then, help the people. And the last thing, I was in a gnarly ATV accident, lots of damage. My experiences thereafter, the hospital and the recovery, were interesting. My dad died of cancer 4 years ago. That's one of those things, especially for him, me knowing him, totally avoidable. And so if I can help other people, other Americans that I care about, avoid these senseless suffering associated with bad lifestyle choices, I would love to do that. I'm coming full circle. This is now what I do. I've got courses available. This is just a screenshot from one of them. Thanks for listening to me.
Thank you, Dan. How can the community help you?
Well, so these are things that would be most useful for me in the short term. So seminar locations, the way that I deliver the education is through seminars to regular folks. I have continuing education seminars for practitioners, and I have online courses. Seminar locations would be awesome so that I can, one, kind of vet my presentation of each of the seminars and get in front of more people. That's always the thing, right? Get in front of more people. A marketing strategy and implementation person. I can produce content, that's my thing. I love producing the content. I want somebody to tell me what to do with marketing. It's just not my shtick. Email, social media marketing. If it's face-to-face marketing, I'm okay with that. Just give me a schedule and I'll go do it. But email, I'd love somebody doing this with the fingers, making the emails work and be beautiful. And social media, I can of course be the face of the social media, but give me some logical progression to go through, not just posting for posting's sake. A videographer and an editor, that'd be great. A lot of my time is spent in editing, and it's not just my forte, so I'm sure somebody could do that in a tenth of the time with better quality. That's why I paid for my first course a lot. strategic partners, and when I say strategic partners, I mean synergistic companies that have a similar mindset and mission, so that our products can flow together and help each other. So I've got as far as top of my head for things you guys can help me out.
Okay, we'll open it to the floor now.
Do you know Chris Matos?
Only through my Tampa Bay business emails account.
Okay, well, he would say podcasting the way to go. Podcasts, I would connect with him.
I
You'll
will
do
talk to
very
him
well.
because I have thought podcasts as well, and I actually recorded an intro and outro. So that's as far as I went with
And
it.
have you worked with Chris?
I haven't worked with him. No, I've never met him.
My recommendation
Okay.
is do that.
Keep that in mind in my head.
So if I understand correctly, it sounds like it's a holistic approach. It's medical, it's nutrition, it's fitness and exercise. Is that like where?
In practice, it is for me because as a practitioner for this company, it is minus the medical. So
Okay,
holistic
so-
meaning all aspects of your life that would contribute to a condition.
But
So
you're not doing like personal training.
No.
You are providing some nutritional counseling, but you're kind of giving them kind of like guidance. Does that
yes,
sound?
this is protocols for you to follow in your life. These are lifestyle protocols that contain nutritional advice, exercise advice, relaxation technique advice, organizational advice for tasks in your life, things like that to make your life flow better. But I'm not hands-oning you. We're not face-to-facing. Unless we're in seminars, that's face-to-face, but that's not individual face-to-face, it's group.
And monetizing it, obviously, seminar. I'm assuming that you probably have some kind of a fee or something.
Of course,
like
yeah.
that.
Seminars are fees. The CEU seminars for practitioners, just because the climate of CEUs, those are more. And online courses are, of course, a fee as well. Were you first?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, what you got?
Dan, you and I spoke briefly before the presentation. I know you were a little bit nervous about presenting, but I want to let you know you did a great job presenting. You got all the information out there that you needed to get out. I have a couple of suggestions for you just in terms of the presentation overall,
Yeah.
which is part of what we're supposed to do here. So Guy Kawasaki, who's one of these TED Talk, you know who he is, has this 10-20-30 rule where you should always use like size 30 font on the slides. When you're presenting, have no more than 10 slides, that kind of thing. So maybe more images and less words, and just have you kind of tell us what's going on there. That might be one thing I would suggest. And the second thing is, you're so passionate about this, I would thread into your presentation a case study of an actual person you've worked with. You could change their name if you don't want to divulge their name, but say, Andy came to me, stressed out about, feeling time constrained, he was gaining weight, and, I helped him through this process to, better his life, and, this is how Andy is now, sort of thing. I think that would help us to contextualize what it is you're trying to do.
Okay.
I have a few things also, and for me, this is a very interesting subject, but I'm still not entirely clear of what your offering is, and as I guess a critique, I think it might be good for you to explain what epigenics is, because most people do not know what it is.
Okay.
And I think that's imperative in getting your point across, because I don't think the average person understands what that is. And then there was another term I think that you used, but for me, this seems very interesting because I'm into this kind of stuff, but I'm still not totally clear what your offering is. So I would kind of drill down to that a little bit better.
Okay. Thanks.
My only critique was, I think you should have explained what Dust Off was sooner.
Sooner? Okay.
Yeah, like, it's the name of your company, but it took you like 5 or 6
slides.
slides.
Waste so much time for the 6 minutes.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
I agree.
So I had some curiosities about the monetization as far as the market positioning. Have you looked at competitors and what comparable products and services like this are look
I
like?
haven't, it's causing me to bump up my prices.
That's good. That's great. And so that, like, piggyback off of what he said, in that you can show the future benefit of the product by looking at the life cycle of it from beginning to end and how your consultation has changed that and what that product brought to them at the price point that makes it so attractive.
Right, like you're getting this only for this cost, got everything. Yeah.
it sounds a little markety and salesy, but yeah,
Very
it's
useful.
it's very helpful, yeah.
So, your you have two products, or what? Like, you have the online courses.
Okay, online courses and seminars.
And now the seminars, do you do? I see it says locations, but do you do like small group video seminars live, like with a small group of 5 or 6?
Are the people live
online?
with me, or are they watching on video live?
Well, I see that you do seminars and locations.
Right.
And you're looking for that, something similar to this.
Right.
But do you do them live online as well, like a Zoom or?
So I haven't, yeah, but that, yeah, if I had a camera on you guys, I could certainly stream that. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean like, you send out an email to your past customers and you say, hey, I'm putting together a seminar, virtual seminar, and would you like to come?
Kind of like a webinar.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
But, where you can interact back and forth, not just one way.
Right, some actual live webinar.
Yeah, you do not do that, correct? Or
I
do
have
you?
some created, I haven't done one live yet.
Uh-huh. So you have the online courses,
Mhm.
you have the seminars,
Mhm.
and do you do one-on-one?
Am I still, I'm still practicing?
Yes.
Yeah.
You are doing that. So which one's your favorite? What do you really want to push here?
I think I like the seminars best.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
from my lifestyle perspective
Mhm.
standpoint, the online courses are killer. Like I create them
Right.
and
Absolutely.
I can do whatever I want. Interaction wise, I enjoy the seminars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can do here. I mean,
It is.
I love the business. I love what you do. I think what you I think is very needed. I know there's not everybody wants it, but it's definitely needed for sure.
I only go to people who want it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, piggybacking off of what Neil said and what this gentleman in front of me said, if you could, like he was saying, do a live presentation, do it in a podcast, a live podcast, where your audience is there, and the audience is popping questions at you about what they should do and stuff like that. And then you're on the live podcast, and you'll be getting constant feedback from those people. And they become regular watchers of your thing, of your podcast besides.
So the motif of the podcast is this is me live doing group talks.
Right, exactly.
So I think I'm your ideal client. I'll quickly tell you a story. So I've had high triglycerides for 10 plus years, 400 range or higher. Triglycerides, as you know, should be under 150 or even lower than that. But I've never really been given any advice other than, hey, cut out some of the carbs, don't eat as much pasta and bread. Okay, got it. So I did that, nothing changed. My triglycerides this year went over almost 1,200. So when I saw that, I said, wow, I really need to do something before I have a heart attack.
Right.
So I had to try to figure out what's out there, what can I do, what resources can I find, and I'm looking for it myself. Didn't have a focal point to help me. Now I've pulled YouTube videos and books, and I've just kind of self-researched. And I've been on keto for about 3 months now. I'm taking a blood test next week to see how it works. But I went to a nutritionist who didn't really give me any advice. He was like, oh, I don't like keto. I said, well, here's my log. What should I change? What should I do? He's like, oh, that's good. I don't know. The doctor hadn't even heard of keto. I was like, okay. So, and this was before I started. I wanted to get medical advice. Right? So I really felt like I had no help. So my question on that, one, is to let you know that I would fit, I think, your demographic. Two, because I've had conflicting information, and that's what you're trying to sort out, how do I know that you're the guy to go to, and how would I find you if I hadn't come to 1 Million Cups?
Okay. So
I'm sorry, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. You're describing the problem with the medical system right now. You would find me by whoever does my marketing.
I hope your marketing is out there, because there's more me's out there, and there's
For
more
sure.
people who have other things other than, hey, I want to lose weight. It's, hey, my blood work is out of order, or hey, I need to lose weight because there's a lot of reasons. that
Right.
people look.
So something like yours, I mean, there's multiple things that go into how does physiology work. And it's not just diet. People like to think diet and exercise are the only things involved in anything health related. But I mean, stress mitigation is something. How you blood composition related to stress and hormones is a real thing. And if you have elevated stress hormones, you will have elevated blood fat, so triglycerides are one of those. But you'll also have burn of glycogen stores. You'll have a lot of other physiological problems that happen. It promotes abdominal adiposity, so belly fat, like who wants any of that extra from being stressed out? Nobody. So learning these other aspects of health will help in there. So if we put you on something that was geared toward triglycerides, so currently the 3 courses I have out now are desk workers, so the 3 problems that go along with the desk job and make you hate your life, and how to fix those. Type 2 diabetes and detoxification.
Okay.
So I don't have a triglyceride or heart health course out yet.
That's illustrating, no?
Sure.
I didn't want you to have to diagnose anything.
Well, no, I didn't. That's not what I was trying to get here. But something like that, if you go through the course that would have been your course, and maybe it goes down like 5%, you're like, that's not enough. Maybe you need to get a test for snippets. Maybe you have so snippets a single nucleotide polymorphism. It's a little alteration in your genetic code that causes you to have a slightly different metabolism or physiology than somebody else who doesn't have that little snip. Maybe you need to run a test for that maybe. So you do the least innocuous thing possible, the lifestyle help. If it doesn't work, then you go into something a little more basic.
So how do I know, I guess, kind of getting back to the
How you know I'm the guy?
Is how do I know you're the guy versus the YouTube guy who claims to be Dr. So-and-so?
Right, I guess that'd be the testimonials from the people that I have that I've done good work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my question. When you introduce yourself, what is your technical professional background to give credit to what you're doing?
Yeah, so I took that out of this presentation, which I've had in others. I mentioned the 20 years of research into epigenetics. A lot of that was personal research, but then a lot of that was post-grad education in the field of functional medicine. So functional medicine is a really cool field of growing medical science where you do Western testing, so it's blood work, stool samples, hair samples, depending on whatever you're looking at. But you look at the results in a different pattern. You're looking for patterns within the results to evaluate a system, whether it's a metabolic or organ system. And then you use natural means to treat this. Most functional medicine people use supplement protocols. They're biochemical protocols. I use supplement protocols plus lifestyle.
But does the USF Medical School teach this? Or?
Oh, no.
No?
Those are pharmaceutically sponsored schools. That's all they learn.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just how it goes. Then they have to learn it outside of
Okay.
med school.
Your courses, I got the impression that they're more for practitioners. Are they more for the individuals? And I asked that for a reason. I have a follow-up.
Sure. No, they were originally designed for regular folk, and then I just felt like I couldn't cut out the practitioners, so I just altered the order of how I created the courses for accreditation purposes. It's similar stuff for the practitioners.
Because and I don't know, you don't have this listed as your help, but you could probably take what you've already got and generate passive income by offering that on a platform. I recently went to a summit that was online course creation. And then as far as getting the word out there, like functional medicine is a big growing field, and I don't think a lot of people know about it, as with the whole epigenetics things, because people don't know what SNPs are. They don't know what MTHFR gene mutation is, but I do because I am around it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would be very advantageous for you, if you have the time and the wherewithal, to do a podcast, because you can use that as your funnel. People listen to the podcast, they'll reach out to you, and you'll get more clients, and you'll get more contacts that way.
Yeah, I like the idea of podcast too.
If you can interact like Neil was saying with Chris,
Mm-hmm.
there's another gentleman here, a young guy who was a Marine, Cunningham, I think his name is?
Adam Cummings.
Adam Cummings. They both have podcasts. If you can get onto one of those and say how you're gonna podcast stuff across and explain your thing there and how you're gonna podcast across, you'll gain people who will come to listen
So
to
that could be part of that strategic partnership thing, where
Yeah.
I do like the idea of going on somebody else's podcast. I leverage their audience, they leverage mine.
No, what I'm saying is to
Yeah.
start with,
Right.
you're on somebody else's, you don't need an audience, you're just explaining what you do. And then other people will piggyback off of that on your own podcast, you announce that you're gonna have a podcast.
Right. All All right.
I forgot to mention before that we have a sister chapter for 1 Million Cups in St. Petersburg. They meet every Wednesday at the greenhouse, so we always encourage people who either live down there, happen to be down in St. Pete, or are visiting St. Pete to please visit the St. Pete chapter for 1 Million Cups. They do a great job down there. I've been down there many, many times. Our next presenter is Scott Hopkins, who I'll bring up here in 1 second. I want to just acknowledge some of our 1 Million Cups committee members who are here. I see my brother from the past over there. Say hello. Okay, that's Leon Donovan. Lynn Croson over here, and I don't think anyone else on our committee is here, but we have many other committee members that help make all of this happen. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring Scott up to present on chaotic. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Great.
All right,
Thanks,
let's
Michael.
give Scott a big round of applause.
Hope this works. We had some issues with the transitions earlier. So okay. So good morning. My name is Scott Hopkins. I'm the founder of Chaotic Incorporated. I'm a performance consulting company here in the Tampa area. I'm recently retired Air Force, so I am hoping to. There we go. So I'm going to bring my military experience to the Tampa area to help small businesses perform better. Some of my background: I'm a leader, a trainer, and I'm really big on helping people. I have been in Air Force for 24 years. I've worked in a lot of teams all across the spectrum. My job as an aviator was working with teams, was developing teams. I've developed teams in NATO and across the GCC. So I understand how to build teams, and I want to bring that to companies in the Tampa area to help them perform better and make sure their teams can perform to the level they need for success. Start this out with awareness. Coming to a company and pointing out, giving them the awareness that they need to understand that they have issues with their people and that they need to find a way to fix them. Creating small changes in their performance in order to increase success. Okay, Florida has a lot of small businesses. It is the backbone of our economy. A lot of those are veteran-owned businesses. My focus is bringing that experience that I have to these companies to help them better develop their performance and their success. One of the big problems with this is a lot of companies, especially these small businesses, don't understand how to manage teams. They don't have the experience they need in order to do this. So I'm going to come in and help them understand what some of the problems they have are, focus on addressing their causes of failure, okay, not necessarily why they're not getting the results they want, and helping them develop their team and how they think on their business, not in their business, okay? Getting them out of that area where they're focused on that piece. Another side of team development is personalities. Everybody here has heard of DISC, I'm sure, okay? So personality development. A lot of companies do not understand the concepts of how personalities conflict or work together. So bringing that ability to a company to understand, hey, this guy over here is our sales manager, but he is not necessarily the best kind of person to be in a sales role, okay? And understanding that. Creating better awareness of how those personalities conflict and how they work together. Developing better communication and engagement strategies. How do I get my different personalities to work together? And bringing those strengths out into the company so that they can succeed and work better together. Communication is also a big piece of this. Most companies do not understand how to implement communication programs into their training. Okay, they just assume we talk to each other, we talk to our customers, we talk to everybody else, but how do you talk? Communication is imperative. If you don't know how to communicate well, you're not going to get the point across, you're not going to be able to sell your product, you're not going to be able to collaborate as a team, okay? So how do I do that? Come in, we figure out where the failures in communication are, okay? Where training is geared towards performance, not proficiency. Being able to better understand how to communicate and how to use that within that team and outwardly. From a program development point of view, I start with coaching, okay? At the manager level, managers need to understand how the program works, why they're not getting the results they want. Coaching brings that out. Okay, they start to think about limiting beliefs. They start to understand that their beliefs drive their behavior. Once they understand that, now they can start interacting with their people better, and they can start implementing better training programs to get their people to perform better. Coaching as a partnership. I'm sure everybody in here has at least had a coach at one point in their life, whether sports or business. We're invested in the outcome, okay? I am as much a part of the success of that business as anyone else is, okay? Bringing those limiting beliefs out and bringing ideas to action, okay? And once you get those ideas out of your head, turn them into action, you start developing success. Team dynamics, that's the second piece of the actual program. Establishing a foundation within a company. Every company has 4 main pieces that they need to establish. Trust, okay? If you don't have trust in an organization, it's not going to work. Engagement. If your people are not motivated, they're not going to work. Alignment. Everybody has to have a common mental model. If you're working off that, you're going to succeed. And then modeling. Understanding what your best practices are in your industry and being able to use those to better move your business forward, okay? So establishing that inside of a company is crucial to that foundational training. And then finally, the training piece. This whole time, I am developing a training program to help their people figure out where that performance gap is, okay? The training piece is going to help them jump that performance gap and move towards better success, all right? Unfortunately, training is one of those things that we cut a lot out of, and it's not a lot of professional development in companies, all right? The value of training needs to be understood before it is implemented, okay? We're going to look at the cause of those failures, not the results, and then we're impacting from the top down. So once the managers and the bosses are involved, then the training is going to be more impactful, okay? All those pieces work together in order to make this whole model work. And now if you have any questions, I know you're going to ask me, how can you help me? So here we go. Do you want me to just go or do you want to ask?
How can the community
All right,
help
so
you?
how can you help me? All right, first of all, seeing as how I am transitioning out or have transitioned out of the military and I don't really have a huge network here in Tampa and I don't have a background of corporate support to show that this works. I know it works since I've used it in the military, but it's hard to convey that to a small business in the corporate or in the private sector and say, hey, I know this program works. So I need a proof of concept for at least 2 or 3 companies who are willing to go through the process to see how it works and to be able to look at my results and say yes or no, the results that we were looking for were achieved, okay? On top of that, testimonials. Obviously, if I can get 2 or 3 companies to say yes, this program works, then that is going to go a long way towards being able to say to somebody else, hey, I've proven that this process works with other people. Dan has the advantage of having a practice where he has established customers and everything else. I unfortunately am at a point right now where I'm dealing with very low level of customer access, so I am trying to build that up, and I need the testimonials to do that. And using 1 Million Cups and Operation Startup and some of the other avenues that I've worked out with to start building that credibility has helped, but I need more. And finally, visibility, all right? A few weeks ago, about a month ago, I did a seminar up at UT's Entrepreneurial Center for on the team dynamics piece. Dr. Gold has graciously said that at some point here in the future I can do one of his Operation Startup classes. So I have a few strategic partnerships that I've started to work with, but I need more. I need people out there saying, hey, we want you to come in and do a seminar for our business. We want you to do a seminar for whatever. So I can come out, my face can be seen, my ideas can be put out there, and you guys can see that I do know what I'm talking about, and that I do understand what it is that I'm selling. Questions? Yes?
In regards to your case studies, I think you're already sitting on gold mine of case studies. I think you probably have stories from within the military that you can express to those businesses right there. So I would look back and see certain problems that you solved using this technique and how that relates to the business, and then tell that story in a relatable way to that business that you want to serve.
Yeah, no.
But you got it there. It's just, you don't, I mean, I know you're looking for the ideal client and you want to close the deal on, look, we did this fantastic thing for this client and we can do this for you too. But a lot of people respect the military and what they can do, and So there's some gold in there to be mined.
Okay, appreciate it. Dr. Wolf?
Scott, I thought you did a really good job presenting. You've come such a long way just in a short period of time since I've known you. One suggestion I have is with your customer that you're in your mind, you're thinking of, you might want to narrow that down to a very, very specific type of business or company type rather than being more generalized, like I'll just take on anybody who wants to work with me. I understand why you would say that, but one area where I think there is low-hanging fruit, it may not generate a lot of financial reward or benefit to you initially, but it'll get you kind of out there, are companies that are small businesses that are struggling, that are having a lot of challenges either to scale, just get through different human resource factors that they might have, the team dimensions. So I would really focus on and think about positioning yourself as a solution provider for small businesses that are really facing some serious challenges. Because your military background, I can only imagine, the extreme conditions of uncertainty that you had to deal with at different times in your career that really lends well to crisis management, in the workplace. And then the last thing I would just say is and this is a huge generalization, one of the distinct differences I believe between military experiences you might have had and civilian corporate experiences is the military is largely a collective institution, so there's a tendency for people to buy in to team building and all of that stuff. Whereas in the civilian workplace, it tends to be much more individualistic, I'm going to step on you to kind of get ahead kind of thing. So be sensitive to that in terms of how you approach it, because I think you know that, but that's a huge problem in the civilian workplace.
Yeah, no, I'm aware. And if you happen to know any of those businesses that are struggling,
do.
send them my way.
I'm not sure about small businesses.
Send them my way. I'm more than happy, yes.
Unfortunately, they still
This guy and me, anyway, but, so I've worked for companies that used gentlemen like yourself to come in and consult with management, and I'm a C-level owner of a company right now, and so when I look at something like this, once again, I'm going to go back to cost benefit, right? So the structure of your ideal company is going to be C-level, mid-management, and then the worker bees underneath that. And so you can zero that in on your target customer based on the annual revenue, products. You can sort of segment the population of small businesses. You can take it a little further, and you can target your marketing to spend the least amount of money possible towards those businesses that are in a little bit of peril. You know what I mean? Like he said, so you find the businesses that are in peril but already have the structure where it would actually work.
Right.
Because a mom and pop florist shop is not going to have use for this.
Oh, no, I get that.
But a chain of bicycle stores, they have use for this.
Okay.
And that's how you can use that and target that market.
Okay, you have somebody over here?
I think I can just echo a little bit. I
Okay.
mean, I think number one, in our world, small business is a very wide thing, so I would echo what Andy said. And then I think here, you look at the ROI, look at the type of people that you can get the most, what groups, most small companies are looking for sales. That's where they'll invest the most amount of money. So how do you influence a sales team? Find some niche that you can identify and then quantify that ROI.
Right. Okay.
Metropolitan Ministries, familiar with them?
No, okay.
There's so many problems in our society today. So you go to the organizations that have a problem, especially the not-for-profits. Why not-for-profits? Okay. They'll invite you in. Why? Because you're going to solve their problem. But that helps you too from a number of different reasons. One is you can price yourself very generously. In other words, you're donating your time, so that's a tax write-off, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, it's a donation, but it's a big price. You're not underselling yourself. You're selling what the value of what you're presenting, and that's a good thing. So I would go into that market first, and people on the board of directors of all these metropolitan, they're the people that also need what you have, appreciate what you're doing, and they're volunteering on their board of directors, you follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? For example, children's board, okay? You can work with them. See, if you call any one of these not-for-profits and say, do you have any problems you need solved? Guess what they're gonna say, okay? It's a no-brainer, you know, you'll get in there, and I think you do very well with that.
Okay, thanks. Oh, sorry, I think you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, two things. I don't know if you know on your website, your logo is not on your website.
Which website actually?
Oh, okay. Oh, I just clicked on.
So that one's specifically for this, so I have a couple of different logos on the sheet.
Okay.
So they have the one that doesn't have the performance on it, so that's the main one.
Do you have a website?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a
Yeah, I have more landing pages than websites right now for marketing.
What is the address to check it out?
It's chaotic.com or chaoticperformance.com.
Oh, okay. And what do you charge your consultant?
It totally depends on what their requirements are. If it's developing, and I can do this in a number of different ways. If it's the personality assessments, just single personality assessments are $100, $150. If you want to do the full consultation that goes with that, the price goes up based on what they're looking for. For coaching is a long-term investment for most companies. So it's $400 for however many sessions a month, and that's a 6-month thing. So the prices vary based on what they're looking for. If they just need me to develop a training program, then it's based on however long it takes. I discern that that's going to take me to build that.
I believe in your product, believe me.
Thank you.
I had a company back in Connecticut that I worked for, and I went through 11 different departments in that and did the same thing you're talking about here, building a team atmosphere. We went from 35 employees to 215 in 3 years, becoming the standard of the industry through this whole thing, producing better products, producing a friendly atmosphere, getting people to work together as opposed to stepping on each other, stuff like that. So I believe in it 100%. I love your presentation.
Thank you.
And I think maybe this would fit for both speakers today. Continue to think about your story, number one. And then I think as you're building yourself as a subject matter expert, you can think about what, maybe there's some low-hanging fruit and some revenue streams. You've got to kind of diversify your revenue stream, because if you're a one-man band, so to speak, you're going to have something, again, podcasts,
Yeah,
some
I'm
other
working on a lot of
methodology
those.
in order
Yeah.
to capture income, rather than being trapped by a client or 2 clients, full-time.
Yeah, no, I'm actually in line to go kind of the route that Dan is going. I'm developing online webinars and podcasts and stuff like that too. So there are a number of different avenues that I'm going down, but it helps if I have my face in front of a company that's going to pay me.
And those create the story of you as a subject matter expert.
Right.
So it's marketing as well as potentially, some sort of revenue.
Yep.
Have you thought about how you're going to get people to look at your podcast?
Yes, I'm working on that too.
Okay.
I have already mapped out a fairly good or fairly robust marketing plan. It's just a matter of getting the product ready so that I
To
can
produce it.
I can bring in people in. Rosen?
I agree with Andy. I've seen the growth in what your idea and how you're focused on an industry or the product. This was still more broad-based than you probably need to focus in on, so that all those suggestions were really good. So I only have 2 regarding the presentation, since Andy left that open for me. Except for the 18 okays that you said, and that's the Toastmasters.
Really?
18, you don't want to know about so. Remember, and we've talked about this, and this is true of anybody who does a presentation, you seem to be rushing through the presentation to match the timing of your slide deck. So I felt like you were huffing and puffing up there trying to keep up with the race. And
It's
I
5 minutes.
I know, and I come over and I've seen, like I said, I've seen you grow for 4 months. I think it's awesome where you're at from where you started, so that's terrific. The other thing I want to point out is something that we've also talked about, and that is you made the statement, I have all of this because I've been in the military and I understand the problem you have, and I can help you solve it. So remember, the focus is on the customer,
Right.
not on what you can sell, it's the problem the customer has.
That's a good point. I didn't even
You're selling
register
your
that I said that.
experience. You're selling your experience, not
Otherwise,
the
it's
other
great.
thing.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, thank you very much.
Good job, Scott. I forgot to mention Philip from Delvemore Studios. He's not here today, but he usually is here each week, and he videotapes the presentations, but he wasn't here today. But he does a great job for us, so if you're looking for any videography work, please think about supporting his business. This month at 1 Million Cups, we've of course been profiling veteran-owned businesses throughout the month in celebration of Veterans Day. So each time we've done that, when I've been emceeing, I've asked the attendees that have heard 2 presentations to please spread the word to at least 10 people that you know about these 2 businesses that presented today. You never know what can come out of a room of 40 people. If each of you talk to 10 people, we reach 400 people. Maybe Scott gets some business that he's looking for, at least a connection. Maybe Dan, gets some business as well. So any way that we can help to support these businesses, post stuff if you're on social media, do whatever you can do to really get these folks to the next level. A couple of quick announcements. Lectora is having a crypto Christmas event here at the ECC on December 11th. It's at 7:30 a.m. Is that right? Wow. Okay, so you gotta really be interested in cryptocurrency. But they are giving away $25 worth of free Bitcoin, okay? So as you know, Bitcoin's been collapsing as of late. So it might be a great time to get some Bitcoin, and then that could be your retirement in 5 years from now. There's also a tree lighting tonight in Ybor City at the Centro area down the street on 7th Avenue. Is it on 7th? I guess it is. Yeah, 7th Avenue. From 6 to 9 p.m. I just want to also acknowledge before we open it up to community events, here in the ECC, there are a number of employees here that do an immense amount of work behind the scenes that really make all of the different activities we have here functions. And one of those people is Sam over here. So Sam, just say hello. At this point, I will open it up to questions or feedback or community events that you might want to promote or mention to everybody else. Yes?
There's the Florida Israeli Business Accelerator meets tonight at the Jewish Center. I recommend you go there. I think it's $12, one drink and a lot of finger food. The other thing is on the 19th of December, I'll be pitching at Greenhouse in
Nice.
St. Pete. And the pitch will be on Camelot, Florida. We think a lot in Camelot, okay? And that was a test. I got a couple of smiles. Anyway, if you don't, come here, but if you have friends over in St. Pete, please invite them into Greenhouse or come on over. I'll be pitching it here later, but if you have friends over there in St. Pete, you might tell them that we're pitching the think tank. Thank you.
I also just wanted to mention, we have a new team member at Operation Startup that just joined us a few weeks ago. Her name is Lauren, with an awesome last name, Bacon. Lauren Bacon, so please welcome Lauren to our team. Are there any other community announcements? Yes?
Hi, I'm Amy Wrench. I work for Hillsborough County's Procurement Services Department. We handle all purchasing of goods and services for our 40 county departments. So whether we're building a fire station or need to buy office furniture or buy cut leashes, we'd love for you to do business with Hillsborough County. Come see me. I can help you get registered in our free iSupplier system. Our iSupplier system, once you're in it, you get notified of future bid opportunities. So you can review the opportunity and participate if you'd like. So come by and see me, or if you're an existing vendor in iSupplier and have questions about your account, I'll be happy to help you.
Great.
Thanks.
Yes, Rose.
Next Wednesday, after 1 Million Cups, will be the first time Cigar City Toastmasters will be meeting at its new time, which is the first and third Wednesdays of every month at 10:30. We hope you'll all stay next Wednesday and join us. It's a great time just to see what we can help you do with your pitch and your leadership skills, and we'd love to have you as guests.
The Hillsborough County Library is here every Wednesday from 10 to 4. They do amazing work, so if you want to tap into the library resources, they oftentimes have workshops, sometimes after it. I don't think there's one today, but sometimes after 1 Million Cups they do have workshops. But you can get a library card, you can learn about all the resources that they have online, which are absolutely amazing, and of course they're free. So any other community announcements? Yes?
My name's Simon Bolin. I'm the agribusiness manager for Hillsborough County. Agriculture is the second largest industry in the county with a $26 billion a year economic impact. And January 18th, I know it's a ways out, but since I'm here, we're having MAT. MAT is Military Agriculture Tour. It'll be our 5th one. Tour of various farms around the county and the different types of jobs that are associated with those types of farms. It's free, get lunch, listen to other veterans talk about their transition from military service to the agriculture industry. So,
thank you, Simon.
get a hold of Lynn if you need to get a hold of me.
We're teammates. We're in the same department. You just don't see him here very often because he's downtown at the big Pink Palace.
And Simon, did I meet you a few years back? We were out in Plant City. We were talking about a microbrewing program or something.
Yeah, I also started the hops growing in Florida. It's going very well. Cigar City brewed up some beers a few months ago with our hops, and 3 daughters in St. Pete brewed up 3 beers, and we're getting ready to harvest on Friday actually. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's coming around.
Is that something more?
The only thing that I had to add was next Tuesday, December 4th, is National Cookie Day. So Operation Startup is going to be hosting an open house to celebrate. So if you want to come on through, check out the resources we have, get some free cookies. We also have one of our small businesses that we've worked with in the past, Bakery Boutique. She's going to be sponsoring some of the events also. So if you want to see her discuss about her business, any of the challenges that she's overcome, then we'd be happy to have you stop by.
And eat some yummy. Where is
Yes.
this?
Where is this?
It's going to be in this building, Operation Startup, so it's going to be right in the back corner.
And then on Friday, this Friday, at the Dale Mabry campus for Hillsborough Community College, we have a series called the Startup Toolbox Speaker Series. We usually have it here at the ECC, but this Friday we're having it at the Dale Mabry campus because it's themed around the problem of food insecurity. So we're going to be going through a design thinking sprint to try to come up with solutions for that particular societal challenge. We're doing it at the campus because we opened up a food pantry on the Dale Mabry campus about a month, maybe 5 weeks ago now. And we've had, which really was sad for me to hear, we've had 418 students qualify to be able to tap into that particular resource. So I didn't realize the problem was that intense, at least on our campus. So we want to try to do more about addressing that problem. So if you are interested in coming, it's open to the public. We're going to form small teams. We have a couple of speakers that will be addressing the issue and challenges of food insecurity. And then we'll break out into teams and go through a design thinking sprint to try to solve and come up with some really good solutions.
Are these college kids or are these?
It's everybody. I mean, it's going to be a lot of college kids there, but there'll be quite a few community members there as well.
And when is that?
It's this Friday at 10 a.m. at the Dale Mabry campus, which is across from the football stadium. If you're interested, come up to me afterward and I can give you the Eventbrite link and all of that stuff. It's free. We'll have bagels and coffee, so there'll be some food there for some folks. And that's something I just wanted to mention. Yeah.
Well, can I find that on Eventbrite, the cryptocurrency thing for the 4th?
I don't know if that's on
It's on
Eventbrite.
Facebook,
It's on Facebook?
Lectora Tuesday. It's
Thank you.
always the second Tuesday of every month here at 7:30.
You're welcome.
And there's coffee and fruit
Cookies?
usually.
And Bitcoin, apparently.
On that day, yes.
Any other community announcements? Yes.
I'm the owner of my law firm. My name is Ashley Ivanov, the owner of the law office of Ashley Ivanov. I'm an estate planning, probate, and guardianship attorney. I will be speaking at the Bloomingdale Regional Library in Valrico on guardianship and guardian advocacy. It's a free seminar that is December 13th at 6 p.m. I will also be speaking November 30th, that's this Friday. The month is just flying by. At the venue in off Boyette, I believe that's the Riverview area. I'll be talking on estate planning. So there will also be a social security disability professional there who will be speaking, and I believe an insurance agent. There will be a panel, and that's from 2 to 4. So stop by and see me afterward if you like more details. Also, the Wounded Warrior Project is doing a cleanup in Brandon. It's
Okay.
December 8th. I think they're partnering with Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful, and that's from 9 to 12, December 8th.
Excellent, thank you for sharing that. Anything else? All right, we'll have a wonderful rest of the day. Please join us next week.